She tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you.
Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my grades on all 16 teams from the AFC in the 2021 NFL Draft. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Starting it off with the AFC East champions, the Buffalo Bills, and I have them graded B+. Honestly, I love this draft by the Buffalo Bills. They got Gregory Rousseau in the first round, 30th overall, 61st overall. Then they got another defensive end in Carlos Basham Jr. out of Wake Forest. And then got tackles Spencer Brown and Tommy Doyle in the 3rd and 5th round, respectively. Honestly, I love this draft from the Buffalo Bills. They did a great job, and I honestly believe that they will be the reigning, defending, and undisputed 2021 AFC East champions. Up next, we got the Miami Dolphins, and their grade for this draft is a B-. Honestly, I do believe, just like the Bills, they did a great job with this draft. Jalen Waddle in the first round, along with Jalen Phillips in the later first round. Then getting Hunter Long in the 3rd round, Liam Eichenberg in the 2nd. I think that this draft went very good for the Miami Dolphins. You got protection for Tua. You gave him another weapon. You're building that defense. I think that this draft is one that the Dolphins will honestly have in the bag 100%. But especially now that they have many first-round picks and many second-round picks in the years to come. Now on to the New England Patriots. I'm going to give them a C+ for their efforts. Honestly, I liked it, but I don't agree with it. Like, yes, you got a steal in Christian Barmore, getting him in the 2nd round after trading up for him. Yes, you got Joshua Bledsoe, the safety, in the 6th round out of Missouri. But even though I like the pick of Mac Jones, 15th overall, I honestly think you could have gotten at least someone like Kyle Trask. You could have honestly given him either weapons or even more alignment. But honestly, I do like it, but I don't agree with the Patriots draft. Though, I will be giving them a C. And honestly, this Patriots team is going to be looking very interesting in 2021. Now, on to the last team in the AFC East. We got the New York Jets. Now, we all knew that 2nd overall, it was going to be a quarterback. And honestly, the Jets get a B for this draft. They got their quarterback in the future with Zach Wilson out of BYU, 2nd overall. And then they get someone to protect them with the 14th overall pick, offensive guard Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC. Honestly, I love those two picks. They honestly get a steal, possible steal, for Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss, the wide receiver, 34th overall in the 2nd round. They also got the 2 Michael Carters, the running back Michael Carter from North Carolina and the safety Michael Carter II out of Duke. Honestly, I love those 2 picks, and honestly, I love what the Jets did this year. And honestly, I will be seeing this Jets team as a possible contender. Possible. And if they don't get into the playoffs, at least they'll be close to getting into the playoffs. One of the two. They're still going to be rebuilding. But even if they get into the playoffs or not, this is a win for the New York Jets. Now, on to the AFC North. We got the Baltimore Ravens up first. I'm going to grade them a B- in this draft. They honestly did very well. They got a steal, a possible steal, in Rashad Bateman in the 1st round. I thought he would have been gone by the 20th overall pick. Well, I was incorrect about that. Then they trade back into the 1st round for Odafe Oweh out of Penn State. Very good selection. They get Ben Cleveland in the 3rd round out of Georgia. A very good offensive lineman. But I still don't know why they didn't pick a tackle in this draft. Like, maybe you could have selected someone like Samuel Cosmi. Like, someone like that you could have picked up. to replace Orlando Brown, because either I think that we're gonna actually place Orlando Brown back where he was originally, but that's the reason why he got traded, because he didn't want to go back to his original position. He liked being the blindside blocker. That's what he's gonna be in Kansas City. But I still don't like the idea that the Ravens did not pick an offensive tackle in this draft. Up next, we got the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm gonna grade the Bengals a C+ for this draft. I honestly believe that they should have gone with the 5th overall pick, Penei Sewell, out of Oregon. Like, Jamar Chase, there's a lot to like in Jamar Chase, 100%. But you had the best offensive line prospect in the entire draft right at the point of your fingertips, and you decided not to go with him. I know they got 2 more offensive tackles in Jackson Carman and Deontay Smith, along with center Trey Hill. But still, I still believe that they should have drafted Penei Sewell with that 1st round pick. They got Jamar Chase, they got Jackson Carman, they got Joseph Osai, they got Cameron Sample, and they got Trey Hill, Chris Evans, and Wyatt Hubbard. These guys are very good, and I expect them to explode in the NFL. Well, mostly everyone in the first, 2nd, or 3rd rounds. I think the ones in the later rounds are going to have a little bit of time to develop before they explode into the great players they will be. Up next, we got the team that upset the Pittsburgh Steelers not once but twice in back-to-back weeks. In the Week 17 matchup in Cleveland, I think it was, and in the wild card round between them in Pittsburgh. And I mean, Cleveland, you did incredible in this draft, in my opinion. A- for you guys, because guess what? Greg Newsome II, very good selection. Jeremy Owusu-Koramoah, that is a steal in the 2nd round. Anthony Schwartz in the 3rd round, very good selection. Richard LeConte out of Georgia in the 5th round, excellent selection. Tony Fields in the 5th round as well, excellent selection. I think that this Cleveland Browns team will make it even further into the playoffs, but there are the hurdles of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers. There are those threats that might eliminate the Cleveland Browns before they make it to the AFC Championship game, but I do believe that the Cleveland Browns will put up a big fight this year. Now, up next, we got the defending AFC North champions, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm going to grade them a B for this draft. Getting Najee Harris in the 1st round, that is not a steal for me. It is kind of, but not really, because I did imagine he would be in the 1st round, but I would have imagined he'd be gone by then. But very good selection. Then very good selection with Pat in the 2nd round. You get Kendrick Green in the 3rd. You get all these other guys in the defense in the later rounds, and honestly, I think that these guys 100% will make the Steelers a whole lot better this year. But the question still remains. Will they block for Najee Harris? Will they block for Ben Roethlisberger? Will the Steelers be a team that honestly fights for something besides, because the Steelers really all this time have been the team that, yes, you're so hyped up. You went 11-0 and then lose to some scrub teams like Buffalo. I understand that, but you lost to Cincinnati with their backup quarterback. That is unacceptable for the Pittsburgh Steelers that were hyped at that moment. That is so unacceptable from the Pittsburgh Steelers. This year is the year that the Steelers need to put up or shut up. Up next, we got the losers of the AFC South, the losers of the free agency, and the losers of the draft, because I don't believe that the Texans did any good for their franchise in 2021. After trading away so much capital, their first pick in the draft was in the 3rd round. Like, that is insane. And then they picked a quarterback with their first pick. Davis Mills. Have nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with him. I only grade them a D+ for this because they didn't get any offensive linemen for whether it's Davis Mills or Tyrod Taylor, because I don't think Deshaun Watson, whether his allegations are true or not, whether anything happens, he will not play for the Houston Texans no matter what. And I do not believe so, because I believe either he'll leave as a free agent one day or he will be traded, because there's no way that Deshaun Watson plays with this team. Honestly, love Davis Mills, Nico Collins, and Garrett Howell. I love all the picks they did, but I hate the fact that they did not pick offensive line. Up next, we got the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm going to be giving them a grade of a B-. Kwity Paye in the 1st round, Dejo in the 2nd round. Then you get Sam Ehlinger in the 6th round. That was an interesting pick because Sam Ehlinger is a NFL quarterback in my opinion. He can be, but it'll most likely be one of two things that puts him as a starter. Number 1, Carson Wentz fails. Number 2, whether he gets traded or goes on free agency to a team that needs a quarterback. Those are the only 2 ways he becomes a starter. But I honestly love the fact that the Colts drafted him, because if by the time that Carson Wentz fails, for example, I don't want him to fail, and I don't expect them to fail in Indianapolis. But if he does, they already got their option, Sam Ehlinger, who is a very good quarterback in his own regard. And I love everything that the Colts did in this draft. I would have loved it more if they had gotten him more weapons. I know Mike Strachan has, honestly, out of Charleston, is a very good wide receiver, but still. Now, on to the team with the number 1 overall pick this year, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm giving them an A, because honestly, this was a successful draft for the Jacksonville Jaguars. First of all, we all knew Trevor Lawrence was going to be the 1st overall pick, 100%. What we didn't know is that in the 1st round as well, Travis Etienne, the teammate of Trevor Lawrence, was going to be still playing with him over in Jacksonville. Then you go and get Georgia cornerback Tyson Campbell in the 2nd round. Walker Little, the tackle out of Stanford, in the 2nd round as well. Andre Cisco out of Syracuse, the safety, is going in the 3rd round. And then you get Luke Farrell, tight end out of Ohio State, in the 5th round. I honestly think that the Jaguars, not going to the playoffs this year, but are pushing towards a playoff run. And they need to continue building this team around Trevor Lawrence, since Trevor Lawrence will be their star quarterback. But honestly, I just hope for one thing. Jacksonville, do not ruin Trevor Lawrence. Now, last but certainly not least, we got the Tennessee Titans, the defending AFC South champions. Now, I'm going to be giving them a grade of a B. I love their 1st round draft pick in Caleb Farley, the corner out of Virginia Tech. Then you get offensive tackle Dylan Randons out of North Dakota State in the 2nd. You get Elijah Molden, the corner out of Washington, in the 3rd. Des Fitzpatrick, the Louisville wide receiver, in the 4th. Honestly, I only see success for the Tennessee Titans. And honestly, I do believe that the Titans can now make it further into the playoffs with this very team. I honestly see them in the AFC Championship game. I honestly see them in the possible Super Bowl, because if I'm not mistaken, their only Super Bowl appearance was in 1999 against the Kurt Warner-led St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf. And honestly, I will be seeing these guys in the playoffs. But where? I believe either in the Super Bowl or AFC Championship game. Now, on to the AFC West. We got the Denver Broncos. And I'm going to be giving them a grade of a C+. Why? Because they had a chance at Justin Fields. They did not get any offensive linemen for Drew Lock. And honestly, that is a mistake. Not because their offensive lineman Jawan James injured himself, is out for the year and is no longer even under contract with the Denver Broncos, as he was released, as the team most likely did not want to pay the $10 million he was owed this year, as his injury actually was his own fault, that he was actually outside of the facility. I don't really know about those NFL deals, contracts, or anything, but honestly, one thing is for certain: they need offensive line help. They got very good players in Patrick Surtain II. They got Javonte Williams out of North Carolina in the first and second round, respectively. They got Jamar Johnson in the fifth. They got Baron Browning in the third. Honestly, they are very good players, but I just don't see them succeeding in a team that will 100% fail to make the playoffs again. Now on to the Kansas City Chiefs, the AFC West champions and the AFC champions. Honestly, I'm grading them a C+. They did not fix the offensive tackle position unless you count Orlando Brown. But I would have at least loved on the other side, you got another tackle, maybe in this draft, but they didn't, and it's alright. But they did get offensive linemen not only in free agency, not only via trade, not only via some players retiring and coming to play, but they got some even here in the draft. Trey Smith out of Tennessee in the 6th round. But the most crucial picks that I honestly believe in offensive line was Creed Humphreys out of Oklahoma in the 2nd round, along with Nick Bolton, the linebacker out of Missouri, and tight end Noah Gray out of Duke. These guys are going to be keystones for the Kansas City Chiefs. But is it going to be enough? I honestly think that Patrick Mahomes will be going back to the Super Bowl for Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. Now on to the Las Vegas Raiders. Getting Alex Leatherwood in the 1st round is honestly interesting. That was interesting. They get an offensive lineman to honestly replace Trent Brown, who's now in New England. But I honestly love, it's not that pick. I love the 2nd round draft pick, and that's why I'm giving them a B-, because this draft was interesting for the Las Vegas Raiders, getting Trevon Moehrig in the 2nd round. That is a steal. Getting Malcolm Coates in the 3rd round. Getting Tyree Glipsy in the 4th round. Nate Hobbs in the 5th. I honestly think that this Raiders team is going to prepare for another run to the playoffs, because honestly, I don't believe that they will win the AFC West title. No doubt in my mind that's Kansas City. But I do believe that they have the chance to rival the Chiefs and get into the playoffs. Not win the division, but get into the playoffs nonetheless. And I do believe in the Raiders' strategies in picking offensive linemen and defense, because they did get 2 offensive linemen. The rest of them were defense, especially Trevon Moehrig, which I believe will be one of the biggest steals in this draft. On to the Los Angeles Chargers. Honestly, they did the best decision in the 1st round. Offensive tackle, Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. That was the one they needed to pick. But then they get Asante Samuels Jr. in the 2nd. Interesting pick. They get Chris Rumph the 2nd out of Duke in the 4th. Very good. Then you get Nick Nyman and Larry Rountree the 3rd in the 6th round. I honestly believe that this team is not only preparing to honestly build this team around their quarterback, Justin Herbert. Not only that, but they're ready to rival both the Raiders and Chiefs for the playoffs. As I stated with the Raiders, I don't believe that the Chargers will win the division. But I do believe that the Chargers will rival both teams for a playoff push. And honestly, in my mind, I could see Justin Herbert as an excellent quarterback for his sophomore year. Honestly, it could happen that he's a sophomore slump as well. You had that with Baker Mayfield, but look where he is now. He took the Browns to the playoffs for the first time since 2002, I believe. and the first win since 1994 when Belichick was the coach of the Browns. Now, honestly, I do believe that they will do well, and hopefully they get their playoff push. Now, that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think won this draft? I honestly believe the one who won this draft in the AFC is the Jacksonville Jaguars, getting Trevor Lawrence. The ones who lost, in my opinion, the Houston Texans. But you guys tell me down below who you think lost this draft and who do you think will be a steal and a bust in this draft class. Tell me down in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe and hit the notification if you want more videos, and I'll see you guys next time.